Ladies and gentlemen, rugby league preseason is in full swing, and this weekend we have the crown jewel, at least in my opinion, of the preseason. Today we are joined by Sam Revel, Wobbling Jaw Sports. Mate, how are you? Rugby league, it is back, and I am all keen for it.
So am I, Paddy G. It's so friggin' exciting, man. Thank you so much for having me on your channel. I think I'm popping your cherry. I think I'm having my cherry popped. I'm just so excited, mate.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is correct. Sam absolutely nailed it. This is the co-hosting cherry popping, and hopefully it won't be the last. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, please smash that like button if you do enjoy the video. Subscribe to the channel because this is, well, there's a few other ones, including Sam's. All his social links will be in the description. But this is the official home of Australian sports. And don't forget to use that comment section. Let us know where we went right and where we went wrong, but mostly right because we never go wrong. But Sam, mate, I said that this was the crown jewel for rugby league preseason, in my opinion. How do you get keen for this matchup?
I do, particularly over the past 2 or 3 seasons, man. They've been close as the first two games of the Indigenous and Maori All-Stars clash resulted in 13 plus point victories for either side. But in the past 3 matches, there's been a draw and 2 victories, one to either side, that's been decided by 6 points or less, man. And I'm anticipating something very, very similar this weekend.
Yeah, I liked the old format. Obviously, it's rugby league, so I'm going to watch it. But I think they've gotten it right. I think this is the perfect fixture, and I always look forward to it. You know, obviously, there's a sense of rugby league's just around the corner. We'll talk about the new signings. I always think about when Benji played in the Indigenous All-Stars, and for the first time, he had the Bunnies logo on his arm, and it was just something small. But I remember that. Some breakout performances in the All-Stars in previous years. Sam, is there a performance in this match that whether it was a rookie made you go, oh, wow, this kid's got something, or maybe an older veteran and you thought, oh, this guy's still got it. This is why he's so much better than everyone else?
Wendell Sailor is the first name that comes to mind. There was a performance last year, or I think it was the game down at Combank Stadium. There was I don't know. You've sort of caught me off guard, Paddy, but yeah, there's been a couple. There's been a couple for either side, mate.
Yeah, well, we had Cobbo last year. He, I think, got a hat trick or maybe 4 tries in the end. The one I went to, and the reason I was going to bring this up, and that's the reason I threw you the question. Brandon Smith of 2019. He was coming off the bench for Melbourne. I'm not sure if he had a starring role in that 2018 grand final team, but then he went. He got about 2 tries, set up a few. That, I think, is when we caught on to the cheese. And then ever since then, I mean, it's crazy to think that that was 5 years ago, half a decade ago. But that's the performance that comes to mind. But which one of these boys is going to have a crack up this weekend? We'll go through the teams 1 to 17. And the Indigenous All-Stars, especially the back line, is absolutely cracked. So we got Latrell Mitchell at fullback, Josh Adokar, the Hammer, Katoni Staggs, Khan Pereira, Braden Trindle, and Nico Hines, Shaq Mitchell, Kieran Mosley. We saw him in the All-Stars last year. I'm looking forward to seeing him again. Josh Kerr, Adam Elliott in the back row with Josh Curran, Hopgood at lock, and then Bailey Butler, Brian Kelly, Peru, Bailey Biondioto, Zach Fulton, love to see that, Jordan Grant, and Kyle Lay. But Sam, what sticks out for you in that Indigenous All-Stars lineup?
Clearly, the back line is, as you said, it's crack. It's absolutely off its head. And the forward pack is probably the best I've seen in a couple of seasons as well for the Indigenous All-Stars. The only thing, though, is that interchange is a little bit small. You look at Hohepa, Puru, Bailey Biondi, Otto. Those two gentlemen, man, could have themselves a breakout season, especially Puru, bro. There's a lot of raps on him, and he's coming back from injury as well. So, the only knock on it is that interchange is a little bit small.
Yeah, we'll go through the Maori All-Stars team now, and there's been the same case, I think, for the past few years, is that the Indigenous All-Stars 1 to 5 has been incredible, but the Maori All-Stars forward pack has been insane. So, but to be fair, I'm reading this back line now, and it's pretty bloody good. So for the Maori All-Stars, we've got Jesse Arthurs, Jojo Fafita, Dane Gagai, who I think might be making his Maori All-Stars debut, Matty Tomoko, Adam Pompey, Cody Nikarima, Jerome Hughes, Royce Hunt, Brandon Smith, Leo Thompson, Britton Nickera, Kenny Bromwich, Joe Tapane, Jazz Tavaga, Trey Mooney, Xavier Willison, Dylan Walker, Tamari Martin, Jack Howarth, and Keenan Palacia. Mate, who sticks out for you in the Maori All-Stars?
Well, first of all, you're exactly right, man. It is the forwards of the Maori All-Stars that always tends to shine. This year is absolutely no different, mate. You touched on Brandon Smith before. This is his first game for the Maori All-Stars since 2020, so he'd be chomping at the bit, I'd imagine, to represent in this game. Looking for a big one from him as well. Dane Gagai, he made his Maori All-Stars debut last year after having 3 years with the Indigenous All-Stars, so he swapped allegiances there. But there's a couple of names on that interchange bench, man. One in Mooney and the other in Willison, mate. That really, really got me frothing.
Yeah, I've been high on Trey Mooney for a lot of years. I'm not fully tapped into the younger guys, but since I spent some time at the Raiders, Trey Mooney has been one to watch. So there's plenty to talk about. We'll go to what you're looking forward to most in this match. I think for me, it's the halves of the Indigenous All-Stars. Matt Moylan is gone, and Sharkies fans get excited because we get to see Braden Trindle and Nico Hines partnered up. They obviously sort of had the resurgence for the Sharks at the end of last year, getting back to finals footy. But that for me is so exciting to watch. Nico Hines played at fullback, I believe, in last year's Indigenous All-Stars game. Walked away with man of the match there despite Cobo's hat trick, which I just mentioned. Sam, how do you see those Sharks halves going together in this match?
That's a great point, man. This is well and truly for Sharks fans a sneak peek at what to anticipate from those two gentlemen for 2024. Braden Trindle, wouldn't say is under pressure, but I think we all would like to see him go a little bit better than what he did this time last season. The two things that stick out to me, or the things that I'm really looking forward to seeing, Khan Pereira makes his Indigenous All-Stars debut. I cannot wait to see what happens with him. But Latrell Mitchell, this is going to be his first match since he got suspended. His season came to an end when he got suspended in that Newcastle Knights loss at McDonald Jones Stadium. This is the first time we're going to see him, and he's in for a big year. He needs to be in for a big year, and cannot wait to see how Latrell Mitt goes this weekend.
Yeah, he's an interesting one, Trelly Mitt. I don't think the word under pressure is right because it's Latrell Mitchell. He's always going to have a $1 million contract no matter what happens. But,
Yeah.
He hasn't had the best of a few years at South. I actually think he was coming off his best year in 2022, in 2023. They started off really well. We all know the story with South, so we don't need to go through it again. But that end of the season, I know he was hampered with injuries, and trust me, no one knows about having an injured fullback more than me. But I think it's a big year for Latrell Mitchell, and I feel like we've said this every year ever since he left the Roosters. So I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see him at fullback, and Khan Pereira. I'm so excited to see him. It feels like just wingers and centers. They're getting fast. They're getting stronger. And Khan Pereira, that was his rookie year. He's still super young, and I'm excited about the Gold Coast Titans this year. So I can't wait to see how he goes. We'll talk some forwards here, and I'm going to switch to the Maori All-Stars, show them some love, because I think Leo Thompson, the Newcastle Knights back end to last season, was absolutely magical. And Leo Thompson was so good for Newcastle. He knocked, the Saifidi brothers are competing over who is the other starting prop because of how good this kid is going. But the crown jewel of his season last year was how good he was for the New Zealand Kiwis, especially in that win over Australia. Sam, how do you think that big Leo Thompson is going to go in this match, but also this year?
Leo Thompson, man, was becoming like the face of the Maori All-Stars like 2 years ago before he was even a name. And now, since his breakout year last year, well and truly, bro, he is very quickly rising rapidly to be the face, or one of the faces of New Zealand Rugby League, man. He was sensational last year, and he's just improving year on year, bro. So I think he's going to come out and destroy it. I think he was actually pretty damn solid last year in this game too. Leo Thompson, bro. I'm anticipating a good year from him.
I think it's a great challenge for him in this game too. I mean, whether, it's a preseason game, whatever, this is still a huge game for both of these teams. And James Fisher-Harris, I think he's been the captain for the Maori All-Stars in previous years. He's not playing because he's got a bloody fly over to England. So I think Leo Thompson is one to watch. Another one to watch, Britton Nakora was very close to getting a Dalian back rower of the year last year. I think that for the Cronulla Sharks, a team that on paper is looking pretty stagnant. A lot of teams, I've said in my predictions video, that were finished outside the 8, have improved tremendously, at least on paper. The Sharks haven't as much. They're the same team, but I think Britton Nakora can be a guy that goes to a whole new level. And I think in this match, looking at the Indigenous All-Stars, they look a bit weaker on paper. I think Britton Nakora could have an absolute ripper game.
Yes, Britton Nikora, for me, was the Dally M second rower of the year, in my opinion. And it's scary to think, it could be crazy to think that he could actually get better than the standard that he set for himself in 2023, man. He's an exceptional player, and he really realized his potential last year. Really look at that back row, man, for the Maori All-Stars is so damn good.
Yeah, it absolutely is terrific. And, you know, I did say that they're a weaker four, but I think the two guys who are the standouts for the Indigenous All-Stars, actually, there's three. Josh Curran, who's in the back row, I think he's going to play lock at the Bulldogs, but it still will be interesting to see how he goes in this game, because despite the Warriors being phenomenal and us all having Josh Curran as an origin smoky when the Warriors weren't going as well, he had, by his standards, probably not the best year, but hop good. And a bit of a smoky, Shaq Mitchell. Shaq Mitchell had a phenomenal fixture last year in this exact game, but I think he was also pretty underrated in what was a pretty bad South Sydney, in that run to end the season. So how do you think that all those three boys are going to go in this game?
I look at the back row for the Indigenous All-Stars, and while they're all hard toilers, there's no X factor like there is with the back row for the Maori All-Stars. I see offloads from a Tarpanay or a Nikora or a Bromwich, Kenny Bromwich, that is. So it's going to be a hard-working back row for the Indigenous All-Stars, man. And then Shaq Mitchell, bro, he really he came to life, didn't he? He became a well and truly earned first grader in 2023. Josh Kerr, his tenure at the St. George Illawarra Dragons fizzled out, unfortunately. So under Wayne Bennett, he could already have found himself the gear that he was playing at about 2 or 3 seasons ago. So I'm kind of interested to see how Josh Kerr goes in this game and for the rest of 2024.
Yeah, I think, Josh Kerr, he was in that Origin, the worst ever Queensland team, a few years ago. I think he was in the squad, didn't play, I don't think, but it felt like he could have kicked on after that. Unfortunately, he hasn't yet. He's back with Wayne, who obviously picked him for that team. So I'm interested to see how he goes. But back onto the benches now. There's some good young talent on the benches. Obviously, the Indigenous All-Stars bench isn't as strong as the Maori All-Stars bench. I'm very excited to see how Trey Mooney goes. I think the Raiders forward pack's absolutely stacked. But another one is Xavier Willison. He was probably one of the Broncos' best. Granted, it wasn't a great trial for those young boys against Wynnum Manly. So is there anyone on the bench who sticks out for you?
Yeah. So mentioned Trey Mooney and Xavier Willison previously. I'm definitely keen on Willison, man. Just the couple of games that he had last season, he's tall and he's got his post-contact meters up, but he put in a lot of hard yards, man. I really liked what I saw from Willison. And on the Indigenous side, man, I've always been a fan from what I've seen of Bailey Biondi Otto, who I believe is with the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs these days. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, the likes of Hepa Puru and Biondi Otto, man, a couple of young men that have either been around for a little bit or have been spoken about a lot, and they're going to get another opportunity now on primetime TV to show what they potentially could have if Coach Ron Griffiths can allow them to play on the field for 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think there's unlimited substitutions in this game. I may be wrong. I think there's unlimited, so hopefully we get to see plenty of these boys and plenty of different combinations. I think what this game usually for me comes down to, and how I've predicted it the last couple of years, is I think that for any chance the Indigenous All-Stars getting a win here is their forward pack has to match the Maori All-Stars for periods. And then I think they just need exceptional games for the halves. I actually think they've struggled. They obviously won this fixture last year, but they've struggled in recent years. Sam, who are you leaning towards?
Man, it's kind of split down the middle, man. And it's always been the case that it's been the backs of the Indigenous All-Stars versus the Maori All-Stars, of the forward pack for the Maori All-Stars. I can't go past the Maori All-Stars, to be honest with you, bro. I think that forward pack is just too damn good. But Shaq Mitchell, as you mentioned before, he was a standout in last last year's game. But I think that small interchange bench is really going to come back and bite the Indigenous All-Stars.
Yeah, I think if you if you are a punter out there, I think unders a much more physical game, which this game can be. I'd be going the Maori All-Stars. More high scoring, lots of X factor from the backs. Insane that there's plenty of X factor on both teams. So honestly, what am I talking about? It could go either way, but if I am to predict, my heart is on the line. Someone's going to chop it off if I'm wrong. I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go the Maori All-Stars to win as well. I think man of the match is going to be Britton Nakora. I think he could get a few different tries, and I think he's going to have an absolute cracking game. Sam, who do you think is going to be the standout or standouts in this game?
Yeah, Brandon Smith, first game in a few years, is probably primed and ready to explode. Also with the fact that he had an underwhelming, the whole Roosters side had an underwhelming 2023, and I'm sure he's chewing at the bit to come out and prove people wrong. The other man as well, Jerome Hughes, to lead around the Maori All-Stars as well. Really keen to see how he plays as well, and I think he is a smoky for a man of the match in this game too.
Yeah, I think, that matchup that's probably the most fun I'm going to have watching this game. Hughes, Nico Hines, probably two guys who are, if you said they're top two, I wouldn't argue, but maybe just a tier below. Everyone's a tier below Cleary. What the heck am I talking about? But that's going to be a very interesting matchup. Sam, thank you so much for joining us. Any final thoughts? Anything you got to say to the viewers of the channel?
#Cowboys NRL Premiers 2024. Please subscribe to Paddy G and come over and check my channel out. All the best, guys. Thank you.
Two parts of that were right. The first part wasn't. Maybe we got to bring you over to talk about some Cowboys, Sam. Maybe you got to do that before the season starts.
Maybe, mate. Send out the invitation. I'll be here if I can. Thank you.
Bloody oath, mate. Also, NRL. You didn't do it this year, but I'm on there. Give us some more manly Cowboys games. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below. Where do we go right? Where do we go wrong? And I'll see you. And you can just visit Sam's. All his socials will be in the link below. We'll see you in the next one.